Welcome back to the AZ Gooner. The first stop of Arsenal's preseason tour in the USA is over. In Washington, D.C., Arsenal came away with a 5-0 victory over the MLS All Stars. I'm just going to give a quick reaction of my thoughts from the game and my reactions from what I saw in this 5-0 victory. So, this was the first team that started the game, a generally strong team. I thought the standouts of the first half were Saliba, and then Leandro Trossard had another outside the box banger. Um, and something about Trossard, he played in this number 8 role here. Could that possibly be a new position that Arteta's trying out Trossard in? Based off of last year's preseason, Arteta really took it seriously. He played a lot of the first team guys throughout every game, which is something we haven't seen in previous years under like Arsene Wenger. So in the first half, we saw very much something of what we saw all of last season, where we had an inverted left back, and then in defense, the left back would drop back, and we would see the number 8 from the left-hand side sort of form a 4-4-2 like formation in defense. So in the second half, this is the team that we mostly saw for most of the second half, a couple substitutions here and there, but this was the main team. And basically what happened was Arteta had completely flipped the formation from left to right. So instead of the left back inverting, this time Timber inverted from right back. And this is something that I talked about in the Timber video and what sort of role he was going to play when he come to Arsenal. And that's exactly what he did. And I think he played that to even a larger a more freer extent, bombing up the pitch. I mean, you see immediately when he came on, he made forward runs into the box. He sort of had this free roll from midfield and defended in right back. Now, in terms of Havertz and Odegaard, when we would drop back in that 4-4-2 instead of the left-sided 8 dropping deep, Odegaard was actually the one dropping here, and Havertz would defend a little bit higher up the pitch, which sort of just completely flips the entire formation. And this just gives a completely new dimension to the team that Arteta could play with. So, and now that we have the amount of depth that we have, this is going to be a very nice option and definitely an improvement from last year. We see the entire new defense. So it's going to give Arteta a lot of options in defense. We'll see what type of 4 he will pick in the big games because now there's a lot of competition there. Jurrien Timber coming in at right back, he looked very, very good in that role. Very pacey, very quick, very good on the ball, looked comfortable in attack, picking up spaces, making forward runs. Is this going to affect Zinchenko? Zinchenko had an amazing season at left back last season. Will Arteta play Timber and Zinchenko at the same time? I'm not sure. Is this going to be something new that we'll see where we have 2 inverted fullbacks? I don't know if he's going to want to do that. So it's definitely more options than last season. Now Ben White also played really well last year at right back. Zerdy looked sharp in the 2 preseason games. Does Timber displace Ben White? Because the 2 center backs, Saliba and Gabriel, I don't know if anyone's changing those 2. So Timber, Arteta's going to have to bench one of Timber, White, or Zinchenko for starting for the Premier League. Obviously, there's going to be rotation all throughout the season, but what is the main 4 that he goes for? We'll have to just wait and see. Obviously, at City with Pep, he really rotates all 4. Sometimes you'll see Ake at left back, you'll see Kanji at right back, you'll see Walker at right back. So definitely a lot of options to play with for Arteta, and it's going to be interesting to see how he wants his defense to look throughout the season. Some more standouts in that second half. Odegaard, I thought he looked sharp already. I mean, just first preseason action, I thought he was brilliant. Rice coming in just does everything right when he gets the ball. Makes the right passes. You didn't see a whole lot, but I think this is like little things Rice is going to do in that midfield is definitely going to elevate the team. And then Havertz finally got his goal. He was the main question mark signing, but we saw him get a very nice goal off the half volley, lashed it in the back of the net. I think the same position that he scored this goal in today is, I think, a position where you're going to see a lot of goals scored from Havertz, playing right next to the striker in Balogun. So far, from the first preseason game, very, very good signs. The team already looks very sharp, and I think the biggest thing we've seen from last year to this last preseason, this preseason, is the depth. Injuries are going to happen during the season, but I feel like already I can see this team is going to struggle less with injuries than last season. I think we have the depth and the quality to be able to play and put out a strong team in the Champions League and the Premier League. This is going to be a team that Arteta is going to be able to experiment with a lot and really have a lot of options. So far, the first preseason game, a lot of exciting signs, but it's just preseason. Next stop, Manchester United in New Jersey.